Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Frame by Frame, Nikon's very own podcast show live here at Xposure Festival in Sharjah City, where we dive deep into the heart and photography of photography and video and listen to insights and stories of photographers from all around the world. Join us as we uncover the magic behind the lens in each and every episode. Hi, I'm Elle Laine, your host for today's podcast. A little bit about me: I am a content creator in both photo and video. But hey, I'm not in the hot seat for today. Joining me live is one of the most brilliant wedding photographers that I know, who flew in all the way from Qatar. And she is here live in the hot seat, Martina. Hi Martina, how are you today?
Hello, I'm amazing. It always feels good to be in the Nikon family on Nikon events. So thank you for having me.
How was your experience so far flying in from Qatar, I believe, right?
Yes, I flew in from Qatar just last night, had a shower, had food, and just joined here. So I still didn't have time to go over everything because it's this year Xposure is big. Like it was big last year, but this year it's huge, and there's so many things that are happening. Yesterday I was a little bit tired because I just flew directly from the wedding. So I'm catching
and so
up
I've
these
heard,
days.
I've actually seen and follow you on Instagram to know all about those weddings. And I believe you're having a workshop as well soon with Nikon here.
We're gonna have a workshop tomorrow, 4 p.m. Here at Xposure Festival. It's gonna be a little bit different topic than normally. So even if you have been on any of the previous workshops of mine, please come because it's gonna be really interesting, and I hope you're gonna join as well.
I wish, okay? I hope I'll be there, but fingers crossed. Let's hope you do amazing job.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit more about your background. How'd you get into wedding photography? Because the audience watching would love to know that story as well.
I did not plan to be a wedding photographer, first of all. I did not plan to be a photographer. What's even more important.
What is your background then?
Well, I was, back when I was in my teen years, I was discovering myself, let's put it this way. I didn't actually know what I want to do in life. So I went on a college that was something completely different. It's a sport-related college. And during my second year, I figured out this is not something I want to do for the rest of my life. And in that period, my photography, that was a hobby, kind of started coming more and more to life. And back in the days, we're talking about maybe 13, 14 years ago. That's a lot of time. In Croatia, where I'm from, it was very hard to earn any kind of money from portraits or fashion. So it was mostly the weddings where you can earn money.
Right.
And I started doing them just because I wanted to buy a new lens. I wanted to upgrade on equipment. I wanted something, but I couldn't earn from any other aspect of photography.
So what camera were you using at that time then?
I started my career with Nikon D90.
Okay.
Then I upgraded to D600. Then I upgraded to D810.
All right.
So it was like from the day one being on Nikon, I was just upgrading as I was growing and as I needed different performance abilities, and as Nikon was growing as well. Like I feel I was growing with Nikon for last 13, 14 years.
That's so nice to hear. Actually, I'm so glad that you have such brand loyalty with Nikon at the moment.
It's the best. Guys, it's not because I'm here talking to Elle Laine, huh? It's really like, I know them for the last few years, but from the day one, the colors, uncomparable with any other brand. And that attention to the quality that Nikon has was something that didn't even made me thinking about another brand.
Right.
And this is so important for the photographers who are trying to make a career out of photographers.
Exactly. So now that you mentioned it, tell us, how, as a wedding photographer, are you able to capture couple stories, candidly and posed, by the way? And how has Nikon helped you with that?
Okay, there is an interesting story. I just delivered last week photos to one of my clients, and she sent me back this long voice message on WhatsApp saying how happy she is and how never she had any pictures of her taken where she looks that good.
Okay.
The trick is I let people be themselves. I allow them the space to enjoy their wedding, to enjoy their day, to embrace all the emotions that are happening, to feel them, to experience them, and then I'm there to capture it. I didn't mention that recently I switched to Z8.
Oh,
So after
brilliant.
many years of being DSLR shooter, as I call it, a dinosaur shooter, because I know most probably everyone is already on mirrorless,
Decided to swap to mirrorless.
I decided to swap on mirrorless because Z8 killed it. Like I was already thinking of being on Z9, but for me, for the type of work
That you need to do
that I
and-
need to do, it's a little bit too heavy, even
Yeah.
though performances are
It's absolutely
amazing.
compact and can help you run around while you capture
Z8.
those moments.
Like this.
Wonderful.
And now Z8 is really helping me capturing the stories of people, especially with the high burst shutter.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about missing the shot.
a moment, exactly.
So I let them be them. I let them have fun, and I'm just shooting.
But what is your strategy when you shoot these people? How do you pose them? Because sometimes it can get very overwhelming for a bride or a couple who's not so used in front of the camera or the lens, right? So they get very inundated, they get very overwhelmed. How do you pose them? What's your strategy? What's your approach?
So I prefer guiding people instead of posing. I feel guiding allows more freedom for my couples to be who they are versus me telling them who to be and what to do. So posing and guiding is for me two different terms. And I very rarely do traditional posing, especially for the people who are not comfortable in front of the camera.
Absolutely.
I will
How do you
guide
make them? Yeah.
I will
How do you
guide
make
them. I will tell them what to do. I would give them actions and see how they respond to it. And that would be the direction of my next guidance, let's say. So I might start with, let's have a walk. You guys are gonna hold hands, you're gonna walk. Imagine you're on a beach in Bali, sand between your feet. I would create a whole story based on what I've already learned about them and see how they respond. We would do a test shots. I would be shooting, so they would be real shots.
That is true.
But the first shots are not necessarily the shots I'm going to be using because I always want to give them a little bit of time to relax, to kind of loosen up. If they respond, great, awesome, let's spice it up. Let's do one more walk, but now you're going to hug under the hand or something. Or, I can sometimes tell to the bride, if we're talking about more casual shoot outdoors, at some point just jump on his back without him knowing, just to get that organic emotion, organic feeling.
Right.
So it's more or less Lego building blocks and playing and seeing what I get from them and then going in that direction.
I follow you on Instagram, so I can see all of those beautiful moments that you capture, especially snaps of gratitude. I love that concept where you let people know. Where you let people know about your day, about your wedding. So let us know as well. How do you approach stylized weddings? I see a lot of that on your Instagram as well. I know you travel a lot for these stylized weddings, and then you create content that would definitely target, I believe, the local people, the local wedding photographers as well. Yeah.
I love styled weddings because I get to be more creative and have more time compared to the actual wedding day. When you work with specific clients, they have specific expectations. Or they want to have more focus on this, less on this, which is great. So for me, it's always a number one priority to satisfy my customer. Styled shoots allow me absolute freedom. I can do what I want, how I want. I can test new equipment, I can test new approach, I can test new technique without feeling, oh, if I fail, I kind of flopped the job.
Right.
And then I realized it's a very interesting thing because a lot of photographers want to build up their portfolio.
And a lot of vendors want to get on board to showcase their products as well.
Exactly. Right? Everyone needs content. Guys, everyone needs content. That's like a golden goose here. So whatever the viewers are doing, it's an amazing thing to focus on. I love organizing style shoots because it connects a lot of vendors, a lot of photographers, allows me selfishly certain freedom and creativity, and I get to publish whatever I want because a lot of clients I work with, I'm not allowed to publish images either because the ladies are covered or they're high-end clients who don't want to have their pictures published. So I always need something to keep my social media updated and more interesting.
Absolutely. I'm curious, what is in your go-to bag when you head out to weddings? Because I can understand the amount of equipment involved for wedding photography. Please let us know. Do you have a light setup? Do you have audio involved as well? Do you do video, or do you have a video team rather? What's in your bag? What's in your gear that I need to know?
So I shoot prime lenses only. I don't know if that's a cray thing or it's a smart thing, but the whole prime thing started with back in the days when I was trying to invest money. 50 millimeter was something that I could have afforded. And then I so got used to the fact that I don't zoom that it became a second nature for me. Like the zoom is my legs.
Okay.
I walk. Then I was upgrading my kit and it just stayed on prime lenses. So in my bag, you will find 24, 35, 50, 85, and 105.
No way, all prime right there.
All primes, all Nikons.
I would assume 24 to 70, but you went flat out 25 as well for prime. Okay.
Yeah. Now, most of the times I would be juggling between, so I shoot with two cameras. Now I upgraded to Z8. Before that, I was shooting D810. I was shooting with two bodies.
Yeah.
So I always have two different focal lengths on. So I'm ready for whatever happens. Most of the times I'm juggling between 50 and 105, or depending on what's happening, 35 and 105.
Absolutely.
So those will be the most. But I love my 50 millimeter, like it's my go-to lens. If I have to shoot one lens until the end of my life,
it will be the 50.
It will be the 50. Like it's such an amazing lens. You get so much ability to show the space, to go more deep in the portrait, and it's just fantastic.
Definitely resonate with you. 50 and 85 are my go-to portrait lenses.
Right?
I love it. And that's with the lowest aperture. Oh my God, I believe it's amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I mean, and whoever is on the budget can start with that lens and later upgrade.
Great. Absolutely. Quick question. You said that you did the swap to Z8.
Yeah.
How did you swap into the Z8? What made you swap into the Z8? Did you loan it at one point, tried it out?
So it first started with the fact that I organized the style shoot in Greece, in Santorini, and all the photographers who came to participate were already on mirrorless.
Okay.
So I was the only person who was doing click, 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 and I felt, the moments when you go on an event and you're underdressed.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, I still produce amazing work with DSLR, but it was just like staying behind.
Right.
At some point you have to follow up. Otherwise life runs you over.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to switch to mirrorless, but as I said, Z9 was not something that I would be comfortable with in terms of size for my type of work. And then I was waiting for Z8. And I said, okay, when Z8 comes, I'm going to test it. And luckily to Nikon, who borrowed me the camera to try it out.
To try it out for the first time. Where did you test it out?
Tested it, I think it was like end of November, beginning of December, in that period, like now, a few months back. Because I said before committing to buy, because I need to buy two bodies.
Correct.
I would love to try it to see if this is the camera that would be the great next step. Because once I buy the camera, I'm gonna use it. I mean, I already did almost 15 events from the beginning of the year until now. Beautiful work. It has to be the camera that is gonna be consistent with what I have been creating before, kind of in the style, and also be very trustworthy.
Is your DSLR still your secondary baby, or did you get another mirrorless as your second?
So I have both Z8s, because
Okay.
for me there is no like half foot in, half foot out. Once you
That is
do
so true.
something,
Once you go mirrorless, you go all out mirrorless, right? You can't turn back, is it?
even if I have to, so initially like it was like, okay, maybe I can just get one and then the second body is gonna be 810. No. Once you get so comfortable with mirrorless and the fact that my shoulders don't hurt anymore because I'm not repeating this moment, I can just have it here and tap and
Absolutely. Look at the LCD and go ahead.
wow,
Point
my
of
neck
focus.
doesn't hurt. I
Yep.
mean, it's beautiful. So even if I have to go back to the DSLR, I think it will be extremely challenging because once you get on something better, on something that helps with your work, that makes your life easier, it's very hard to go back.
Right. So you heard it first, by the way. Such
Yeah.
stellar advice on swapping to mirrorless. So a piece of advice, Nikon actually has a loan program where you can loan out any gear, any lens, and you can try it out in any of your travel trips or any of your weddings, I believe so, right?
I think it's a fantastic thing because I don't think I would buy Z8 before I would be able to try it because again, I need two cameras.
That is true.
So it's quite of an investment. So having ability to borrow the equipment before you commit it, it's a fantastic thing. And then it's like, okay, this is exactly what I need, heading to the shop and buying it. So I would warmly suggest that, because that's what I've did. And
Great. So speak of trying the Z8 camera, you can find us here live at the Nikon booth in Hall D in the Trade Center area. Feel free to pass by, listen in to our live workshops that are happening up until 8 p.m. today. Try out the Z8 at our photo booth area, or simply pop by and say hi as we do the podcast live, right?
exactly.
Right. So last question before I wrap up this episode. Any advice that you can share with aspiring wedding photographers out there who want to enter the industry or want to specialize in weddings? Any first-hand advice that can definitely help them?
Get Nikon. No, I'm kidding. I mean, obviously Nikon is great, but
Definitely. No, that is true. Get Nikon, brand royalty right here. Okay.
recently I was talking to one photographer who is currently a Sony shooter, and she wants to upgrade. And she was like, oh, I'm not sure if I should go Canon or Nikon. So I told her about, okay, go, try, take it, see if this is for you. So yeah, get Nikon, jokes aside. But my
Tip number one. All
tip
right.
number
What's
one?
tip number two?
Get Nikon. Tip number 2, go out and shoot. It's simple as it is. Get the camera, go out and shoot. You want to be a wedding photographer. You don't have to go on a wedding to start wedding photography. Get your friend, get Elle Laine to pose for you. Like, look how amazing she looks. Get her, she's an amazing model. Or get your friend. Start taking pictures. The more you work, the better you're gonna get. Follow the workshops. Whenever you have an opportunity to go on any kind of content, workshop materials, anything, do it. Connect with Nikon people. They do so many amazing educational programs. If you hear one new sentence each day, it's gonna skyrocket your world, and the quality you're having as a photographer, and just connect. What I love about Nikon is that it's such a friendly atmosphere, such a family.
Such a
kind of-
family. No, we've definitely. So I've met Martina last year, Xposure.
Yes.
So close, so family right now, right? Nikon family at the moment.
I feel like I need to kiss your hand. You were like, okay, sorry, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that stellar advice in building your portfolio. All right. Starting out, and go ahead and collaborate with as many vendors as you can get. Create your own stylized shoot. Start off with Nikon. Stellar advice right there. And continue shooting almost anything and everything. Hone your portfolio right there. Is that right?
Absolutely.
That's advice from Martina today.
And join my workshop tomorrow at 4.
Exactly. Oh, let's plug that in. Definitely, let's plug that in. Martina is having a workshop, a wedding workshop. Please do pass by. It will be at 4 p.m. Did you say?
Tomorrow.
4 p.m. tomorrow at our Nikon stand here at the Hall D Trade Center. Do pass by. Come in and listen to more stellar advice about weddings. Try out the Z8 personally at our photo booth stand. And also get your camera cleaned and checked while you wait and attend our workshop or catch us live as we do the podcast. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
How can the audience connect with you over Instagram or any of your social media handles? Would you like to plug in that?
Yes, connect with me on Instagram. It's photography_timeless. You can pop me message anytime, engage. I'm always happy to have a chat. So yeah, hope to see you tomorrow, and hope to chat with you on Instagram.
Thank you so much, Martina. Guys, catch up for the next episode here live at our Nikon stand booth. Thank you.